The second season of BoJack Horseman is already much better than the first one, with some great and iconic moments throughout the season, and this season has some of my favorite episodes of the entire show. Still, there are a few that I don't like as much and are therefore at the bottom of my list. And with all of that out of the way, it's time to share my least favorite episode of season 2. In Still Broken, the cast of Horsing Around reunites as they attend Herb's funeral. This might seem like a great way to learn more about them, and that we certainly do, but the episode itself is just a boring treasure hunt where the cast tries to find Herb's gold. The only thing I found a bit funny was Princess Carolyn making up heroic stories about Herb. This isn't enough to carry the entire episode, making for an underwhelming episode that ends up at the bottom of my list. Chickens is hardly any better, and it just feels like a filler episode, where Todd, Diane and Kelsey's daughter Irving try to save a chicken from being slaughtered. The only reason I consider this episode better than Still Broken is because there are a bit more hilarious moments, but other than that, I prefer to skip this episode while rewatching the seasons. We aren't done with the average episodes just yet, as Yes and is also just okay. Each time I watch this episode, I find myself getting annoyed by BoJack's and Diane's laziness, making it already much less fun to watch, though I do like the ending, as you wonder where BoJack is going, setting up things for the next episode. In episode 6, Mr. Peanut Butter is looking for a job as he is out of money thanks to his PB Living IDs, and I find it hilarious that things always seem to be working out for him. That part of this episode is great, but the part with BoJack saying the love word to Wanda is not that funny and drags on repeated viewing. The episode does end on a high note, with the movie star speech being one of the most memorable moments of the entire show. In the first episode of season 2, BoJack tries to have a more positive attitude, which makes it difficult to shoot a single scene. And while this is funny at first, it gets old really quickly, which just drags on for me on repeated viewing, and it was not as enjoyable as other episodes this season. Though I love the interactions with Mr. Peanut Butter as they both now have positive attitudes. When a party from Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter ends abruptly, everyone makes sure to get out of there as fast as possible, after which we get to see what the main characters of the show are up to. In my opinion, the part with Princess Carolyn and Todd is the best, and the argument between Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter foreshadows things to come. Out to Sea is a great way to end the season with an inspirational ending. BoJack rescues Todd from his improv cult, while Diane returns to Mr. Peanut Butter after crashing at BoJack's place. This episode makes me reflect on what happened this season and makes me eager to see the next episode, which is exactly what the final episode needs to do. In episode 2, Todd creates his own Disneyland, making for some hilarious moments throughout the episode as Todd fights for the name of his park. BoJack can't live a normal life as everyone knows his secrets thanks to his book. While avoiding them, BoJack meets Wanda and they fall in love. BoJack shows his dark side as he gets jealous and tries to sabotage his new relationship like usual. Despite that, this is just a nice light-headed episode, which is great given all of the dark moments this season. In episode 7, we get those dark moments, when Diane causes an uproar by accusing Hank Hippopopoulos of inappropriate behavior. The B-plot with Todd and the Cordovian prince make for some funny moments for this otherwise very serious episode and subject, and this episode makes for some great commentary about how the media sensationalizes serious issues. Diane doesn't get her way and the media moves on to the next big thing, and this ultimately ends up pulling Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter further apart. In this episode, BoJack tries to secretly get a shot for his movie secretariat as the movie has taken a silly approach and he wants to convince Turtletop to maintain the serious tone. In order to get this shot, all of the main characters make an appearance except for Diane, who is still in Cordovia, though she secretly gets back to Hollywood at the end. Margot Martindale appears again and steals the show, making for some hilarious moments. BoJack crying towards the end of the episode despite his inability to cry during the shot is a touching and sad moment that is one of the standout moments of the season. While most people will probably put Escape from LA at the number 1 spot, there is just one episode that I find even better. Of course, given that this is the penultimate episode, things are bound to get dark. It starts up all friendly with BoJack joining Charlotte in New Mexico and staying there for a long time, till he messes things up on Penny's prom night, showing BoJack at his lowest up to this point. Despite the depressing and dark ending, this episode is still filled with funny moments, and I love Pete repeat, making for an entertaining and memorable episode. Last but not least, Let's Find Out claims the number 1 spot. This episode is so funny and rewatchable that there was no doubt in my mind that I had to put it at the number 1 spot. It's hilarious that BoJack gets all these complicated questions while the A-lister Daniel Radcliffe gets questions about mixing colors. There is still time for more serious matters as Mr. Peanut Butter confronts BoJack about the fact that he kissed Diane. Thus it also moves the overall plot forward. I've seen this episode countless times and it remains as great as the first time I watched it. And the ending is probably the best moment of the episode, where BoJack decides it's more important to make a point than give money to charity. So that was my ranking of the episodes of the second season of BoJack Horseman. Let me know if you agree with my ranking, and if not, how would you rank these episodes? Thank you for watching, bye bye.